Alright, guys, welcome to ARWP, the All Real Wrestling Podcast. I'm your host, Eric Novak of the Wrestling Republic, and today we have a special guest. He is the End Seeker, Dante Leon.
Yo, what's up, man?
What's up, man? I'm a huge fan. We have so much to talk about. Let's start off with, the question that everyone hates. We're going to get through it quickly, and it's why did you decide to become a pro wrestler? We're going to get through it.
All right, speed round it. My family, brothers, dad, huge fans. Always something in the house. Lucha Libre, ECW, WCW. So, kind of grew up with it. Got dragged to a WrestleMania 25 in Houston. Saw Shawn Michaels versus The Undertaker. And after that match, I was like, all right, this is it. This is what I'm gonna do with my life. So, like 14. So about a week or two later, I found a ring, found a guy. It was like, yeah, sure, I'll teach you how to bump and stuff, and got to it.
Was it easy finding all that stuff around you? Like a ring, a teacher, a coach, a school, anything like that?
Luckily, my brother worked town, and he saw this gym that said pro wrestling, boxing, weightlifting, and he was like, well, they have pro wrestling signs, so we figured we'd call him, see what's up. And luckily the dude was pretty chill. Get us a tour of the place. So there was a gym, they had a wrestling ring all set up in the back, and so luckily that happened.
How old are you?
28.
28. All right, very young. And when did you start wrestling? At what age? 14?
Uh, yeah, I would say started for like a year when I was 14, and then took probably, college, high school kind of got in the way. Took like a hiatus, 6, 7 years, really. So I don't really count that, but I got started when I was 14, yeah.
So you were balancing training in the ring and going through the academics at the same time?
Yeah, a freshman year of high school, I would juggle it. It was, Monday through Friday schooling, and then on the weekends for about, 2 hours at a time, we drive out there, learn how to, not really learn much, but learn how to hit the ropes kind of okay, how to take a suplex. So like the basics of the basics of the basics. So nothing really fancy or anything.
All right. And did you finish college? Did you go through college?
Oh no, man. I tried, I was like, I only wanted to go to college really because for theater and for psychology, because I figured those two things would help me in wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, nah, I might as well just actually get into it
Yeah.
instead of wasting all this money.
No, it's a great mindset, and I agree with that mindset. But so let's talk about when you first started getting into the actual wrestling buzz. When did you get the idea that like, oh wait, I'm actually getting booked for shows, this and that? Around what time did that all happen?
Well, I started training professionally, like for real, in 2016 in January. And, for that first year, getting kind of bookings, for the most part around, but it probably took another 2 to 3 years for actually, traveling the state to state to state and actually getting a consistent schedule of wrestling bookings.
Mm.
Yeah.
What was your first big break? I know you featured on Raw. I know you were on Raw, but like, what was your first like big moment, if you had to say?
Mm, and uh, maybe AAW in Chicago. They were that was one of the actual first real times that I like was able to wrestle kind of like people that knew way more than me, more experience. I actually got to learn from. Like, got to wrestle the Colt Cabanas and NJF and like all them dudes that would come through Chicago time. Like that's when I really started to learn and actually had like a chance to learn.
Mm-hmm.
So about like 2 years in, 2008 or 18, yeah.
And at that time, where did you want to be? At that time, as you're wrestling for AEW, where was your mindset at?
Man, I couldn't even tell you. I mean, the dream was really either go to Japan or like everyone wants to be signed somewhere as fast as possible when they really start going, because that's the big naive dream. But really, I guess at that time, those two things.
Mm-hmm. All right. Again, a lot of people wanted that, but in your case, it's a little bit different. You know what I mean? Because it's the fact that people really found you out mainly because you became viral at one point. But we'll talk about that. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. But we'll talk about that in a bit. So that's awesome. AEW is amazing. Chicago is a phenomenal crowd as always. And is that like the first time you really get to hear a Chicago crowd with like a roster that big? You know what I mean? Like with talent that big, the energy in the room. Yeah.
For sure. It was I moved up to Davenport, Iowa, so I wasn't too far, and I would be able to go to Chicago's shows on the weekend and learn and just really watch as a fan, helping out the shows. But once you get in that ring and the crowd is super lively and they get that energy going, it's that they say it's one of the best wrestling towns for a reason, because some of the people are crazy, man, like for real.
So another question that I would love to ask right now is the fact that you wrestled so many people already. I'm sure you had like a bucket list or a dream list of wrestlers you want to wrestle. Who have you already crossed off on that list at the moment already?
Good question, man.
That's my job.
Yeah, I just like I don't know, man. I don't have a long list.
Yeah.
I have like the like really 5 to 6 people, and those people are like you got the Jeff Hardys and the Kenta Marufuji, like people that's kind of like, all right, man, like it's gonna take a little bit to get there.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I am curious because I was gonna ask this later, but like, who is on your list? You already named Kenta, you named Marufuji, you named Jeff Hardy. Who else is on that like short list?
Man, the Lucha Brothers for sure. My trainer, Seth Rollins. That would be, ever since I was younger, he's probably one of my favorites back in the Tyler Black days. So him. All right. Answer a previous question. You asked me one of the people that was on the list. Jimmy Jacobs and Tyler Black had a tag team, and they were one of my top favorite tag teams on Wrestling Society X. And I got to wrestle him in Canada, and that just hit me, man, because he was definitely on the list.
That's awesome. So tell me how it was like, getting trained by Seth Rollins or having him coach you in that sense. Because I know a lot of people, trained with him, and he's training a lot of new generation, and they're really doing a lot of amazing things in the independent scene. So tell me your perspective on it.
Man, it was tough, definitely tough. I got trained like class 5, so in 2016, like right after he had the knee injury. Mm-hmm. So things were not very lively at the time there. It was straight grind, like hard work. So at that time, like it was it was grueling, man, for sure. But I felt like any other time I wouldn't have learned or like progressed as I did. So I'm like super like thankful for that.
Yeah, the way I see it, I feel like if it's tough, then it's good. You don't want a coach who's friendly with you. It's a very like different situation when you want to learn from the best and you have to go through the way went through it. And it's never an easy process. So I got to talk about this. You brought up Japan as one of your big things, and now you're currently in Japan. How did that even start? Tell me where one led to the other for you to get noticed to be in Japan.
Well, me and dude named Ninja Mac had several matches where we did some pretty insane things, and they reached out to Ninja. He came out, he worked for them, and then they looked over some of his matches and were like, who's this dude? Who's this color-haired guy? And he was like, oh no, it's Dante Leon. And so, a few more months later, once the borders starting to open up a little more and got a little bit more relaxed, they emailed me, hit me up. They were like, hey, do you would like to come to Pro Wrestling Noah? And yes, please. Yes, I'll be there tomorrow if you let me. So really, that's kind of how it panned out.
So where's your commitment right now? Because I know you just posted a few days ago that you're going to be back in the States for like a limited time, and people should book you immediately. Is your goal just to stay in Japan for as long as you possibly could? Is that where you'd want to continue your career?
For the foreseeable future, yes, definitely. I am only back in the States for probably a month and a half tops before I start my next tour of Noah. And I'm like, America's cool. States are cool. They have a lot of great promotions and talent. But when you get here, you realize it's a completely different world, a completely different sport in like these people's eyes. And it makes you way more appreciative because the crowd is way more appreciative, and the sport of it here is still alive. And really all my eyes and attention and focus is really on Pro Wrestling Noah and continuing like helping out in any way possible I can to even bring, Western eyes to the product. As much as, everyone already knows about it and stuff, I would still like to contribute as much as I can.
Yeah, that's great. And, I completely agree with you because, Japan is a very different, culture, and the way they look at wrestling is not like how fans in the U.S. look at wrestling, when they can always have a problem with something or look into something, while, Japanese wrestling fans, they see it as just what it is, and it's like art. It's story. It doesn't have to be perfect, but as long as it's a fan base that truly cares and continues no matter what. And it's amazing that their wrestling is very different. There's not that much promos and storylines. It's more of just do it in the ring, show your worth, things like that. And I absolutely love that in Pro Wrestling Noah and all the other companies in Japan based right now. So you brought up Ninja Mac, and of course I have to talk about that match. You went viral because of that match. So many wrestlers messaged you on Twitter, this and that. I remember seeing it myself. I remember reposting it. Man, okay, let's start at the beginning. Where do you come up with this stuff? Do you feel like you have to explain to me where I believe it was a shooting star into a cutter. That's what it was, the first one, right? Shooting star into a cutter. Where did it even come up? Where did you even decide to try it out once? And how did it, go the first time? I want to hear the whole story.
Sure, man. I have a lot of free time. And in Iowa, we have our Black and Brave Academy. We have a ring set up. We have crash mats. We have free reign to really do or come up with whatever we want.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of the days, like, I really make it a point that every time I'm in there, at least try something different, or like, even if it doesn't work out, there's been hundreds of things like I've attempted that didn't happen, landed wrong, or like completely failed at. But the few things that I've different or a little bit more creative to be able to do has helped me get to where I am today, like, for sure. Like, so shooting star cutter is one of them. Like, you have crash pads, we go over here, and I like to stand on the top rope and figure out, all right, what can I do? What flip or what spin can I do to make this look cool? And just one day I was like, it'd be cool to hit a cutter from the top rope and maybe do a flip. So the first one I tried was a 450 cutter. Did not go well at all. Literally, I was like, all right, I'm never trying that again. And then the next one that came to mind was, hey, maybe a shooting star. So probably about 2-3 months of like workshopping it, trying it with the crash pads, with a test dummy. I was like, you know what? I think I can actually hit this on a person. So I asked someone, hey, can you just stand right here and just, I'm gonna grab you and just go down like a cutter, okay? And they're like, yeah, sure. They didn't think I could hit it. And then boom. And then I was like, all right, next week I'm gonna hit this move in a match. And the next match with me and Ninja, and he's great at what he does. And then I was like, all right, I have a feeling this is gonna go just fine.
You know, it's crazy because that match may even be in the top 10 of the year. You know what I mean? You and Ninja had an insane match. In my book, it's clear, definitely in the top 10. And the fact that, like, no one saw it coming. That was again, I see yourself in the indies. I don't think you've hit that move in the indies. I think that was the first time you hit it in Noah. Am I correct?
First time in Noah, yes. First time I ever hit it was at local wrestling at I think 2021 in Houston. Me and Mac had our like first real match, and that's the first time I hit the shooting star cutter. And then Wrestling with Unicorns were there. Luckily, they got the footage of it, and then literally the next morning I woke up and wrestlers that I looked up to and people on TV were like, whoa, what was this? I remember Ricochet retweeting me, and I was like, oh, Ricochet, he does all the craziest cool shit in the world, and he thinks this is cool, so I must be doing something kind of right.
Yeah, so after Unicorn posted it, that's when you got all the wrestlers messaging you, right? That was the first time? What about the second time? Because I know when Noah posted it, again, it became a viral thing. Again, many people who, you know, didn't see the first time. I saw a bunch of wrestlers, you know, tweet from that. I know it was like a GIF, one little like GIF of someone doing it. So, you know, after Noah posted it, what was the reaction then? How many, like, was anyone that you were surprised tweeted and messaged?
Man.
Yeah, you get these messages all the time.
Really? No. Yeah, like when Noah posted it, I didn't really get much messages about it because a lot of people kind of already saw it. You know, I did it a few times in America. I really rarely rang it out, but I did for Noah. I remember a lot of wrestlers defending it because I know once a GIF like that circulates, there's going to be a lot of hate. There's going to be like, well, what's the point of a flip into a cutter and like a lot of that stuff. But, you know, it's cool when other, you know, people in the sport understand why we do this. And like, they don't like, well, what does an extra little rotation do or whatever, you know, bullshit, you know, Twitter says. But, I mean, it definitely helped out get eyes on the product and on myself and Ninja again. So never regret, you know, hitting it.
Do you ever let the hate get to you?
Man, I learned a long time ago that literally just you're a professional. Don't let, you know, hate or like, you know, Twitter comments really get to you, because like that's their job, you know. Like if you're a fan of it, I get it. You want to criticize or you want to have your input known or said, and like I get that completely. Like, and like even when you get on TV, millions of people are gonna see you, and a million people are gonna have different things to say about you. So you gotta grow that thick skin, you know.
Of course. Well, we have to talk about it. You're currently the GHC Junior Heavyweight Champion. Man, that's amazing. You know, and it's so soon. Are you again, the timing of you coming into Noah, having a few matches, and already being champion, and having having to win that title off Ninja Mac. The story build is phenomenal. So you know, let's talk about it. What is it like in Japan right now? Before we talk about, you know, you win the title, what's it like in Japan for you when you got here? You know, if I went to Japan, I would be clueless. I wouldn't know how to get anywhere, or you know, how to navigate myself anywhere. Tell me how it is for you.
Yeah. My first tour for Noah back in July, it was only for like 4 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And dude, it's a whole like it really is a whole new world. It's hard to figure out where to go to, how to take the train, how to order food, and like be as respectful as you can, because you don't want to be an asshole to these people. Their customs and traditions are different than yours, so you have to learn quick that, you know, what to say or how to say it and how the etiquette is, because dude, everyone's super respectful, and it's super awesome, because like I'm kind of the same way. I want everyone to know, like, all right, it's all chill. Like, I respect you. Let's, you know, have a chill time. But back then, didn't learn nothing. So luckily this time I'm here for a good 3 months, so not just a few weeks. And so I learned to pick up a lot faster and a lot more of the etiquette. And dude, it's awesome. The people are awesome. The food is awesome. Like wrestling, the people here are they're so talented. They train so hard. Like, it's the most grueling, insane training I've ever seen. And every single person that trains here they're going to be huge. They're going to be superstars. They're going to be doing this stuff for the next 20, 30 years. And it's awesome to see. And even like, it's awesome as a foreigner to be like a part of.
So, are you on contract with Noah? Is there like an actual contract that you have with them, that you are part of their roster?
Not a yearly contract. It goes by tour contract.
Okay.
So
yeah, it's still a contract though. So still something. It's still
bring you in, and that's it.
Yeah. All right. So as of right now, I'm curious. Are you creating more moves as you're like, when you're not wrestling, when you're, you know, doing your own thing? Are you also right now trying to create more crazy stuff to do in your next matches? Like, what do you do when you're not wrestling?
Dude, 100%. Like, every time I'm in a ring or training, I'm trying to think of literally what new thing can I try or something to create, because I get bored easily. I don't really want the same moveset. I understand, like a lot of people do, and they have their things that they like to do, their shtick, and they like to stick to that. But I really, really, really like to try different things and never really settle for what I'm doing now. So the moves that I do or try to create this year are probably going to be way different than the things I invent or try to do next year type thing.
Mm-hmm. So I got to talk about this as well. Another move in your arsenal that was trending worldwide was the middle rope moonsault into a cutter. A lot to talk about that, because there's also a more backlash. But seeing that move, that was all your creation. You created that move on your own. No one's ever done that before, and now we're seeing other people do it on bigger companies. You know, what are your thoughts on that? And if you
yeah, my thoughts are literally whatever. Like I assume I'm the first one to do that, but I know it's wrestling. Like everything is gonna be taken, and everything's gonna be reused, and I'm surprised it kind of took this long to see someone else hit it and do it. So, like, I get it, 100%.
You know, it's cool though. If 2K was 24, 23, I believe comes out, we're gonna see like a bunch
Yeah.
of your moves on there, which you know what that's gonna mean. That means that they do notice you and things like that. And I'm sure your moveset's gonna be on there for sure. There's no way they wouldn't add a bunch of shit that you're doing. So
Yeah. No, for sure, that'd be awesome. I would. Hell, when I get the game, I'll be like, hell yeah, I'm gonna finally put this on, whatever character I create or whatever.
Do you play the games, the 2K games?
I rarely, very rarely, but
are you a gamer? Do you play games in general?
not too much. When I have like super free time and it's late, like maybe a Street Fighter, or like I just re-downloaded like a old Pokemon Crystal emulator that I play here on my free time when I'm not at the dojo or at a show or something.
All right. Well, yeah. So, it's cool that you keep yourself busy. Either in the ring when you're not wrestling, or playing video games at midnight, or just trying out new foods in Japan. That's awesome. But let's get back to what we talked about. That's the fact that you are the junior heavyweight champion, and what was going through your head before your match and then after your match?
Before, man, it was really just because the match was at Corkin Hall,
which is a
for
big arena.
Yeah, man. So before the match, it was like, all right, because literally it's the biggest match of my life. So try not to let get the nerves get to me. Just thinking, all right, it's literally just focus. Get these people to do the best as possible. And afterwards, when they handed me the belt and they announced me as the new GHC Junior Heavyweight Champ, I was like, man, it is time to celebrate. It is time to go back there, maybe get a drink or two, and just enjoy the night, because nights like that don't happen a lot, especially for a foreigner in Japan and Noah. And I literally just my thoughts were like, all right, enjoy this moment, enjoy the night.
So let me just ask the question again. We're just going to restart from that one question. You won the JHC Junior Heavyweight Championship. That was a huge moment against Ninja Mac, a guy that you started off with in Noah. What was going through your head before your match with him for the title, and then afterwards?
Yeah, before the match, I was at Corkin Hall for it was a big show of the year where all the titles were on the line, and beforehand it was big, arguably literally the biggest match of my career so far. So just my game plan, my mindset over and over was like, don't fuck this up, don't fuck this up, don't fuck this up, kill it, just make sure to kill it. And then afterwards, when they handed me the belt and they announced me as the 51st GHC Junior Heavyweight Champion, I just could finally just breathe and relax and just celebrate. Really, just I knew right when I get backstage, just all right, man, enjoy this night, enjoy this moment. They're super rare, so just relax.
Was that the first time you won a very emotional title, like a title that actually meant a lot to you? Was that the first time that's happened in your career so far? Because I know you've won titles in the independent scene, but I'm talking about something that actually has a lot of value and meaning to you specifically.
It is definitely number one. Number two, probably the Loco Wrestling Championship. For the reason that Noah has a lot of history behind it, but Loco was really just getting started. I was really one of their first champion of that night, and so just feeling a part of something that we were creating and building was very, very important and emotional to me at that time. But as for like legacy and on a worldwide scope, 100%. The Noah title by far.
So what are you gonna do? Are you, now that you're going back to the States, are you gonna take it with you and defend it in the US for whatever bookings you get, or how is that gonna work?
I have a title defense at Innovation for Noah on the December 23rd, my first defense. And we also have quite a bit of shows coming up. So if I able to retain, I got the Nippon Budokan show, January 1st, huge show. I have a feeling I would have to defend it on that show. And then my last show of this tour, I believe, is January 22nd at Muda's and Sting and Darby Allin, big show that they're on. So I have a feeling I might possibly have to defend it on that show as well. But if everything goes my way when I get back in the States, I'll have that belt and I will be defending it as much as possible and everywhere possible.
What's your thoughts on the whole, AEW wrestlers are now in Noah? You get, Shinsuke Nakamura going from WWE to, everywhere. What's your mindset on that? Because like, if you're, old school fan like I am, like this never was a thing. You know what I mean? Like no one ever predicted that like companies would just combine like this. And now you got like Sasha Banks rumored to be in New Japan showing up there. It's like the world is just turned way over, and now everything is possible. There's no like impossible now. So what's your mindset on that?
Like I said, like the impossible is happening now, and I think that's great. That's amazing. That just like rejuvenates wrestling as a whole. You have WWE guys, you have AEW guys coming in Noah and doing huge shows for them, and literally that just means so many more eyes on the Noah product, which is, you can't go wrong with that. Like the most, the two biggest companies, in America and the United States, like their fan base and their eyeballs are going to be now in Japan on Noah for their two huge shows. And, they're going to enjoy and like what they see, and they're going to stick around and continue to watch Noah. And that's just positives, like all around.
Yeah, I totally agree. I gotta ask this, and I'm hoping you're not gonna give me you could give me the Noah match, but I'm curious. So, I believe every wrestler has this moment where time just stood still. I believe there's a moment in any wrestler's career where it's like they just take a break for a second, one heartbeat, everything is quiet. Have you had that moment yet in your career where something so big happened that literally time stood still?
Like in the match?
After, in the match, whenever something literally just took you like your whole breath.
Man, like it really wasn't like in the match. It was on my entrance for the first time at Noah, and this is the biggest arena ever wrestled at, Nippon Budokan, a legendary venue for them. And walking out and just walking down the rampway felt like forever. And I was not complaining because it was just one of those things in your career that you're going to remember always. It was against Ninja, one of my, my biggest rival, probably one of also my biggest friends in this business. And we've worked our way from, a junkyard warehouse in Houston to one of these huge arenas in Japan. And it was like I just remember looking at the crowd, and for a second I forgot that we had to wrestle. I was just enjoying it that much. And then, honestly, man, probably that moment.
It's awesome. No, I completely understand that first time stepping in the ramp to Noah, hearing the crowd, seeing everything. I can imagine that memory will never be forgotten. That's awesome, dude. That's awesome to have that. So, let's talk about the fact that what you're doing currently, you want to be the greatest champ, you know, what's your main goal for Noah? Like, now that you're the 51st champion, you want to do things differently or you want to bring in more eyes. How are you going to do that? Or do you want to do that?
Oh, of course I want to do that, man. Like, I feel like what I bring to Noah is a different style, my uniqueness. And so I really, like the shooting star cutter the first time, I got more eyes on the product, went viral for them. And like, I just want to continue to keep doing that. I want to keep innovating stuff to bring eyeballs because that's what I'm good at. I'm good at doing something weird that people might like. And hopefully that just helps Noah grow more and more for a Western audience. Because here, dude, it's crazy. They have great fan base. They have a loyal fan base. So that's what I feel like I can add to it. I also want to be, the longest reigning foreigner for the GHC junior heavyweight title. Like number 2 right now. I beat Daniel Bryan last week for longest days. I was like, yes, all right. So I just got about another 100 days to go. And so I really focused on that and doing as much, match-wise. And, I would like to wrestle all their guys here, like wrestling their champ, I believe this Sunday, Kiyomiya. Like, that's going to be an awesome test because I want to be able to challenge myself against their, like, best homegrown talent.
Yeah. Who's in 100 days? Who are you gonna be as longest foreigner chess champion? Do you know?
Michael Modest. Yeah, he 2003, 2004.
Did you already know all this research, or did you look at it afterwards? I'm very curious. Did you know?
Yeah, I did not know about the longest foreigners.
Okay.
I knew that there's. Yeah, like I only knew all right, there's only been 4 or 5 foreigners to win the belt. That's all I knew. I didn't know about title reigns or anything like that. But when you get that belt, you don't want to lose it in one day. You want to make a record, and I'm focused on that.
No, yeah, 100%. So I do want to talk about this as the final question. It is something that I believe everyone's going through, and I believe that even fans themselves who are going to be listening to this, have going through them. You're in a new place, even though it's the exact place they want to be, you're still a small fish in a huge, ocean,
Sure.
and you're alone. I'm at the moment, no family right now, Where's your mental health at when you're in a place so, far from everything that you know?
Yeah, man, super far, and doing better because I got here right before Halloween, and I'm not leaving until late January. So I am missing, the big holiday season, missing the Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, away from, people I love, my family. And that's a little rough. But when we talk and call and they're, ecstatic to hear what I'm doing and they understand sacrifices have to be made, and that helps tremendously that they had my back and they believe in me, and that makes it way easier.
That's good. That's good that your family supports you in this, and they're happy. Are they also watching? Did they have the subscription?
Yeah, they were like, all right, where's this at? And I sent them the link, and they were like 3 minutes later, all right, we're subscribed. Good luck. We'll be watching. And so after every show that goes up, they'll message me like, good match, good job. Were you okay? And I'm like, yeah, I'm okay. Thanks for checking it out. So that, it helps. It's awesome.
When they saw the shooting star cutter, were they surprised when Noah posted it, or when they were watching it on Noah, or they already knew you do it? For them that was like, oh, we've seen this before.
Yeah, they were like, all right, we know he does flips. We know he does jumping off of high stuff. And like, they're just lucky. They're just happy I found a career that allows me to be as, weird with it as, and especially the weirder and more lips and stuff I jump off of, more success. So they're ecstatic for that.
Awesome, man. Well, this has been an awesome interview. I've had such a blast talking to you. Let people know how they can
Thanks,
follow
man.
you, support you, borrow your merch. Just plug everything you got to plug so everyone could see what we're just talking about, the viralness, the amazing talent. He's an artist of his own, move set. Tell everyone.
You can follow me on Twitter at InSeekerLeon, Instagram at InSeeker, and you can buy all merch, hoodies, all that good stuff at stiffblade.com.
Are you planning to do a cameo? Are you gonna do cameo or?
Nah, I don't think so. Probably not.
Nah,
I hear good things, but yeah, probably not.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on. Thank you everyone for listening, and we'll see you guys next time.
Thank you, man.